what we were doing before. We've gone through the tools, the basic functions of each tool. We've gone through layers. Now, I think we have a fairly general idea of the way these things work, so we can start actually getting a little more specific with some tools. So let's start up a new project here. Again, new video and film. Make sure it's this HD version right here, so everything's nice and square. Say OK. Okay, boom. Now, you're going to get a lot of requests, I'm sure, from producers asking for specific logos or whatnot for who knows what. I honestly don't know what producers will be thinking, so I'm not even going to pretend to know. So I'm going to continue the theme here and say, hey, let's do another Big Ten school. They're going to talk about Penn State. Penn State's hiring a new coach. Can we please have a logo of Penn State and have it so that it's available for what we're trying to do? So let's go into our Google, as usual, pull up a logo, and let's get started. Okay, here's the logo. I'm just going to drag it right into, there you go. Now you can see that generally you're not going to want all of this black, and this is a problem. You're like, well, I don't want all this black in here. So how can I come in here and select and just make it so that there's no white, first of all, behind here. Remember what we did here. This is a lock layer. To unlock it, double click it, give it a name, and as soon as you name it, doesn't matter the name, it'll unlock the layer. There, see? No lock anymore. Now I can hide it and get rid of it. Checkered pattern in the background means transparency. Alright, so this is a good one, because if you can look at this, you can say, well, I just want the Penn State, and I want the blue and the white little logo here, but I don't want all this black on here. And for people who are real novices, and you look online and you see on TV and you see this kind of stuff, this drives me crazy, because it just screams I didn't know what I was doing, and I just drug an image in here and left a square black background, or a square white background is what I see a lot of. And that just tells me that they didn't either know how to get rid of the background, or they didn't take the time to get rid of the background. Either case, that's bad. We don't want to do that. So, come over here to our tools. Let me zoom in so we can see again. Different kinds of selection tools, if you remember. Okay, Marquee is a selection tool. We're not going to use that. We're trying to get rid of this black. Marquee draws these little marching ant squares, or marching ant circle. That's of course not going to get us what we want to select here. Okay, the Lasso Tool and the magnetic Lasso Tool, those may be it. Okay, so let's do it with the Lasso Tool at this point in time. Okay, we'll start with that one. All right, so let's zoom in and say, well, let's get just the blue area. Alright, so we come in here, we'll zoom all the way in pretty close, and say, well, let's start selecting. All I'm doing here is pressing down and holding and dragging, okay? And then I'll come around here, and it's going to connect this end when I let go to where I started over here, okay? Let go. And that made a selection, okay? Command D, or I'm going to here select and deselect. And then there's your symbols. It'll tell you, so you don't have to always come up to the main menu. So Control D on a PC, Command D on a Mac will deselect that area then. Alright, so let's do it again. So click and drag what I'm selecting, bring it around, and then let go. See how it just connected this automatically by itself? Obviously that's not the entire area. I need to keep going. Now the way that you add to a selection is that you hold the Shift key. Okay, hold the Shift key. See the little plus sign? If I let go of it, just this, nothing's going on. I hold the Shift key. Look, the little plus sign shows up right there on next to your lasso. Obviously, that tells you that it's going to add to the selection. See? Just keep going through here. Go around and around. Keep selecting. Okay. If you want to be real precise, come in here and get all these little selections. But you can see there's already kind of an issue and why I don't really like this tool that much, but a lot of I would say beginners use this tool because it seems to be the simplest tool for them. They don't have to think a whole lot about what exactly is going on. They just know, hey, I just need to select this stuff. Come in here, select, select, select. Do this. No big deal. And then they will continue to add to the selection until they get exactly what they want. And so now I'm going to come in here and keep going like this and adding to it. And you can say, well, wait a minute, I just messed up here because I was being fast and lazy. How do I get rid of this? That's your Alt key or your Option key on a Mac. So your Alt key, see the little negative sign popped up now, will remove a selection. So I just take the little piece out that I don't want to have, that little piece there, there you go. Get rid of this little piece too. I don't want this. It went too far. Gone. I still need to add this to it. Okay. You just have to keep doing this. Oh, see, I crossed the line a little too much. I don't want to have that. The whole point is to get rid of this little black stuff. So I don't want to. You go through here and you just got to be precise as possible. And get rid of, remove, add, remove, and keep doing this until you get all the way around here. Oh, okay. Alright, so when you're all done and you're finally done selecting everything, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have this little marching ants all the way around the particular logo that you want to have. Alright, now this is great. Obviously, you have what you need. Now you have two options. You have what you need, but you have to get rid of that background. How do I get rid of that background? Oh, thanks for telling me that the server disconnected. Now I'm going to ignore that now. Alright, so I need to get rid of that background. But I don't have the background selected. So if I were to hit delete right now, I just deleted what I needed. Not good, obviously. Undo. Edit, undo right here. Redo and undo. You should know this one though. It's standard. That's not anything different. So it's Control Z is undo. There is also another palette up here. I'll go over this once again because I know I briefly went over it. But this palette is your history palette. That gives you multiple undos. I can come all the way up to the beginning again. See? Just like it was a fresh palette. Or I can come back here. Okay? Great little palette to remember. History. Okay? In here we go. Back to here. So how do I get this? If I delete this area, that's not what I want. I need to get this area. I need to get the black area gone. Okay? Select, inverse. Right there. Now I'm selecting everything outside of where I was. I just flipped my selection basically. So now when I hit delete, it's going to delete everything. And now I have just the logo. Alright, let's do this. See, now I'm going to use my history tool because I can only go back one. I'll go back here to that. I'm going to show you again when you did select inverse. Right there's your Shift Command I. Okay, Shift Command I or Shift Control I on a PC, and then I delete it away. Okay. Also, there's another cool tool, cool trick, which is this is the one I use a lot of when I finally figured out this trick actually existed, and that is by saying Command or Control on a PC, J. Now, did you see what happened there? Let's do it again. And this time I'm going to zoom in to what's going on. When I have the item selected and I'm on the layer I want and I say Control J, it pulled out what I had selected and placed it on its own layer. There it is. See, it's its own little layer. The other one's still there. Still there. It's just another option of pulling out the selection that you want instead of doing the inverse and then deleting all the stuff out. You can just simply hit Command J and it will, bam, put the stuff right on top of it. Now you have your logo. It's blank. It's the way you want to have it. You want to save it this way for the producer into the system. You want to save it as a PNG file. So File, Save As. And then you want to go to the PNG. And then you want to save it to your local drive or wherever the heck you're going to put this thing. And give them a file that contains transparency, but still contains the exact artwork that you want. Okay? Now, let's do it again with a different kind of tool. Alright? Let's get rid of this one. That was too handy. This time, let's use a magic wand tool. Okay, so we were up here last time. We used the lasso, the magnetic lasso. I'm not going to go over that because it's just the same thing as the lasso, only it allows you to just click in here and then just start dragging, and it'll mostly come through. See, this is actually working pretty well. I'm kind of stunned that it can differentiate between that black and that blue so precisely, because I figured it might have a little bit more of an issue than that. Okay, magic wand is what we're going to do now. Magic wand, up here at the top, see me up here? I'm up here, is your tolerance level. Okay, so it's going to pick items based on color. So the blue and the black, they may be too similar, but if you reduce or increase the tolerance level on here, so let's make this 80. 80 means it's going to grab the color you picked and a lot of colors that are similar to it. 80% close to that color. Alright, so if I pick white here, that's great. See, it's doing a wonderful job picking just the white. It's not picking up any other extra stuff, because right next to it is a very dark contrasting blue color. Nothing you need to worry about. But let me move over to the black, which is what we really want to get rid of, and select that. Once I select the black, you'll see, wait, it's not selecting the black. What is going on here? It's bleeding big time into the blue. It's not just selecting the black. You can see it's coming all the way in. Deselect it again. I only want the black, right? I'll click on it. But it's not just taking that, because this blue is close enough to the black that it thinks that's black too, and it just grabs it and pulls it in. We don't want that. Okay, let's change the tolerance down to 40, for example. Okay, let's see if that makes a difference. Oh, much better. Look, see, it just selected what we wanted. That's it. And that was very quick too. That actually worked well. In this situation, this was a much better option than going through and using the lasso tool and going through slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly. Okay, very painful. So then it's already selected. I hit delete, done. Look at that. That was easy enough, huh? Very easy. Just got to, there's a little bit of a trim around here. Not the end of the world though. For television, and the fact that you're not going to zoom all the way in like this most of the time anyway. You know, it's not that big of a deal to zoom all the way in. Oh well, I can see a little black in here. It's a little jaggedy. Well, you're also like 4,000% scale. Let's get it back to a real scale, and you don't really see that. It's no big deal. Okay, so that is the magic wand. Tolerance is very important. Adjust those tolerance levels to get what you want, and to not select what you don't want. All right, let's try another tool now. We're getting this. I go to my history tool, go back in here, bring back my background. Good to go. All right, where is my tools palette? Anybody see my tools palette? Oh, there it is. It's underneath all my stuff. I knew if I asked you guys, you'd find it for me. So, alrighty. Inside the magic wand tool is a quick select tool, which you'll notice is obviously in the same little palette, so it must be similar, right? Because it is. Come in here. Instead of clicking once and doing what you want to do, you can come in here and say, I want this blue, and see how it starts to do stuff. Let's happen quick, so let me just click right there. And it selected, okay, you want this blue, obviously. And it kind of stopped because obviously for some reason it felt like this was a little bit different blue. Hold your shift key down to add to it. Start painting some more into there. And it's going to gradually go through and paint and paint and paint. So this blue is a little bit lighter than the blue over here, so it's a slight gradient in the Penn State logo, which I've never noticed before. But it is a slight little lighter blue, and over here it's a little darker blue. So it comes in here and says, let me select this. Okay, it's doing a pretty good job. I'm adding to it and adding to it, and it's starting to hit more gradient levels. And you're saying, oh, you want to have that too? Yes, I do want to have that too. Let's add to it. Let's add to it. Oh, it freaked out a little bit and it grabbed all the black now. because my tolerance level, again, not right. It's okay, though. That's just another selection tool. Wanted to show you, besides using the magic wand, hitting one location and selecting everything, you can be a little more precise if you want and do the quick selection tool instead of just one click, one spot. Hope that it all works. Hey, worked really well. Now, if this is what I wanted on the inside, you can see that it only selected the blue. Instead of saying, well, let me take this one out. Because what if this was like some sort of crazy rainbow color and it wasn't so easy to select? And I couldn't just come in here and just select black and get rid of it all. It'd be easier for me to probably select the blue logo inside. In this situation, it's blue and white. So I click the blue. That's wonderful. That didn't get what I really needed, though. I can click the blue again. It's still not getting this white part, though. I need that white part. It's the same as I said before. Hold your shift key down. Add to it. Boom. Now look, see? Now you can see that that's been included into the selection. Shift again. Includes it in. This little blue inside here wasn't selected. Shift again. Adds it in. There you go. Looks like we're getting almost all of it now. Doesn't look like we're missing anything. As a matter of fact, oh, we're missing this little bit right here. Add that to it. We're missing this little bit right here. Add that to it. Missing this, all this Penn State white stuff. All of these aren't selected. Okay. I'm selecting all of them now. Oh, looking good. Okay, now it looks like we've gotten every. Oh, a little bit right there. Get that little guy. Looks like we've got them all. And then I can come in here and say Command J. There's my Penn State logo all by itself. And I can move it around. I can resize it now all by itself. See? Resize it and move it around. Yay, Penn State. Okay. I'm going to make a whole new video next on the next selection tool being the pen, because the pen is my favorite tool for selections, and it's also the most challenging to learn for the first time, but it's pretty rewarding. I like how it works. Again, this particular situation, it's pretty nice to just use the magic wand tool, but sometimes it's not going to be as awesome as this, and we'll do something that shows you why it's not as great.